Gather round, ye fans of the frozen fray, where the NFC North winds howl night and day. Strange things are brewing in cap rooms so tight. Dalman retires. Montgomery takes flight. From the Bears comes pay with fire in his eyes. Foster roars Lions. Dave waves Vikings highs. On who will be king, they clash and they spar, debating the trenches, the edges, the star. Crosby whispers, Grenard's on the block. McCarthy versus Vets. Love guards the clock. So pull up a chair in this podcast saloon. Tune in to the roundup neath the off-season moon. Who will be king on Fans First, wild and bold? Who claims the throne when the North turns cold? Let the battles begin. Hey there, everybody. It's Dave here from Vikings First and SKOL, and joining me today we have Pay from the Frustrated Chicago Sports Fans channel, and we have Foster from Bleachers to Speakers. Pay represents the Bears, Foster the Lions. You can tell by the color around their windows. And who do we have from Green Bay? Absolutely nobody, because they are always too scared to come on the show. It is what it is, but it's time to get this roundup rolling. As last we spoke, we were in the middle of the combine. Pay, what did you think of the combine and how it ended up?
Well, coming out of the combine, I had two questions. First question I wanted to know is why did Arkansas suck so bad last season? Although they had a lot of good players at the combine, and you all wasn't, getting 13 wins a season with all this type of talent. Somebody got to explain something to me. Somebody's NIL is getting deducted, or some coach is getting fired after Sunday. That was the first observation I had. Second one I had is it about time we actually start considering not doing the combine? Because everyone else seems to have got the memo before the NFL Network and everybody else. The media people still send the cameras, but everybody else is like, I'm going to stay at the crib. The Bears wasn't even there. Aaron Glenn was there. I know you all saw that.
Oh, I didn't know that. Okay. Foster, what do you think of the underwear Olympics?
Yeah, I mean, this whole time I thought that was like a super hot weekend for everybody to participate. So it was, unbeknownst to me that's not really all that important. They, you get the film and all that, and there's less distractions. And apparently the 30-minute conversation, you get more out of that over the phone than you get out of actually being in person with them. So it sours it a little bit, but there were certainly some highlights and some guys that boosted their stock. Most notably the brothers, what are their last names? Styles? Yeah, the Styles brothers of Ohio State. They both had crazy, 40 times in verts. So it'll be interesting to see how they move around now that that's out the way.
Speaking of moving around, it was the fastest combine in history, with so many players running so fast and jumping so high and doing the 3 cones so fast, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. And that makes you wonder, why was it so fast? Was it the infill and on the field? Because Indy replaced their infield. They used to have the black rubber balls, shredded rubber in there, and they replaced it with a more eco-friendly, non-toxic combination between coconut and something else, corn maybe, type of fill. Cork, coconut and cork. And I'm wondering if generally when the NFL started testing that new infill,
there's some tasty things in there. Coconut,
it could be, but when they started testing it,
corn,
it was supposedly slowed people down a little bit, but everybody was saying no, they were more springy this time, and it was made me wonder. I was just curious.
Yeah, I mean, I think some of it's just that. Oh man! Oh, is it a performance? Yeah.
Could be.
I think it's just the evolution of the game. Speed is obviously more of a factor, and people are just adjusting. It's a less physical game, and people are taking heed to that, I guess. I mean, even the offensive linemen are running fast 40s, relatively speaking.
Oh, yes.
Yeah, the Bears got an offensive lineman that's running pretty quick this week as well.
Oh, man, yeah.
Speaking of the Bears and their offensive linemen, the biggest story coming out the last few days was of Drew Dalman's unsuspected or surprising retirement. Why did he retire, Pay?
Yeah, man. Word out of camp is that he looked up to Frank Ragnow. Maybe that's the case, but there is no actual reason for that other than he's a Gen Z and he woke up one day and said, you know what, I'm quitting my job and I'm going about my business. And that's the best example. I mean, that's the best excuse I can make for a fan until he actually addresses the media himself or gets on his Twitter or his blog space or whatever. Shout out to Luke Cornett, still blogging. But for a reason, I can't really answer that yet, Dave. That's between him and his convictions. I can tell you where the Bears go from here. Back to the drawing board.
Yep. Now, before we get to where you're going, now what I read was that his dad played D1 ball in college and was hit so many times. One of the times he was hit, his arms went numb and he couldn't feel his arms. And they took him out of the game. And the trainers at the time said, if you're hit 1 or 2 or 3 more times, you'll be paralyzed. And I don't know if his dad just told him that story and it scared him or what it was. But it was surprising to the whole NFC North that, hey, the kid played 1 season with you, 5 seasons total, made the Pro Bowl, was obviously a good center, just says, I'm done.
Is that what playing in Chicago does to you? You just say, F it, I'm out of here?
I guess so.
I don't think we want to make that joke there, Foster. Coming from Detroit, you know what I'm saying? Shout out to Barry and Calvin. And Frank
Hall of Famers. Hall of Famers.
Hall of Famers that couldn't wait to get to Canton as they got out of Detroit.
They're still here.
Minnesota's had one. Just up and quit.
Oh, Robert Smith?
Yep. And he says, I want to be able to walk. So he quit. Now, also during the week, the grades came out. Speaking of Chicago, Chicago's field did not grade so well. It got a C-.
That's it.
That what?
That's high. That's high.
That's high for Chicago. I know. The Packers only got a C+ on that beloved hallowed grounds in Lambeau. Why I think that's so low, I don't know. Detroit got a B-, and the Vikings got to be on the field. But I'm wondering what home field, if it's just the turf or if it's also the amenities, where you can sit, what you can see, all that sort of stuff, if all that plays into it. But the grades did release against the NFL's wishes. They didn't release. They got leaked, as we knew they probably would. But, hey, any thoughts on the grades?
We had a B- overall.
Let's see. I can bring it back up.
I mean, I know the OC got a C-, but kind of brought that down.
All right.
I know why the Packers got a C.
You got a B+ overall.
Oh, B+. I thought you said B-.
No, it was
GPA. Okay.
B- for the field.
Oh, okay, gotcha.
Bears get a C+, and the Packers were way down there. Oops. So, of course, the Packers were.
Way down there like they were in the standings. Hey, did you all know it's been 87 days since the Packers won a game?
We'll get to the Packers. I've got a whole section on them. But with Drew Dalman now retired, what's your plans at center?
Well, everyone's is pivoting towards Tyler Lindenbaum, all-pro center from Baltimore, who's apparently going to be available. They're not going to franchise tag him or try to re-sign. Well, they're probably going to try to re-sign him in some type of facet. But if he's available, that is the number one name on the board. Further past that, I don't know. Maybe we can find somebody in the draft, but it might be a little tough there. I mean, these are the top two most important positions along that line, the center and left tackle, and the Bears have got to figure out a way to do something at both positions. It definitely threw us for a loop, you know. For after you've figured out everything you want to do this offseason, okay, I think we may be able to do this and do that, and it might be okay if we can get all of these things done. And then now you got this that goes right to the top of your list. I just hate that I hate when that type of stuff happens. I know Ben and how regimented he is and how orderly and throughout the chaos he is. I know something getting thrown in his to-do list probably irked him to no end, but that's life in football, I guess. But yeah, Tyler Lindenbaum will probably be the name that Ryan Poles is reaching out to at how to get a hold of his agent. The legal tampering period starts when Monday. Yeah, so he probably got his Rolodex already turned all over to that name. Hey, Foss, you know what a Rolodex is?
I've heard the term, but
well, he's got.
You're not that much older than me, okay?
I got you, bro. But he's probably got his number on speed dial. Hey, you know what? Are you familiar with speed dial?
Oh, nah, don't do that. Don't do that. I know what a rotary phone is too. Come on, need a test.
Okay. I got you. But yeah, that's probably where we're gonna start. And if you're unsuccessful doing that, I mean, you still got to remember the Bears before this news. The Bears were 10 over on the cap, so
we all
that
are
is
over.
a little bit. It is a little bit of a, I guess, silver lining. I guess a little bit of the good news, if you want to look at it that way, that this retirement does help us in the cap situation. I believe his cap hit was about $14 million this year.
Okay,
I think.
I'm curious how much of the bonus he's going to have to pay back.
From what I've heard, he'll probably have to pay back around $4 of the $6 million bonus he's got. You know how that goes. It's going to be a negotiation, so it's not. It's that type of stuff isn't set in stone. and they use that. Teams use the bonus as leverage, as something that, hey, we don't have to give this to you the way you want to, or if you don't play ball up with us in a particular way we like, we can say, hey, you're in violation of your bonus. Boo, boo, boo. So, well, we'll see how that goes. They probably make that phone call and figure out things. They're probably giving him some time to get his affairs in order, and then the business side would kick in. I would assume that would happen before the tampering period. So give him the space, let him, figure out what he's going to do next. And then you start making calls to his agent, and woo wop the bam, we start making calls to other people's agents.
Mm-hmm. Now, you mentioned Tyler Lindenbaum. He is expected to get a 4-year contract around $80 million and become the highest paid center in the league.
Thanks.
I've seen. It's also written by Courtney Cronin, friend of the show, friend of the Minnesota Vikings, that you guys are also going to be checking out Tyler Biadasz, or Badass, as I call him.
Good name.
And I do believe both those names are on Foster's list for there. And they could both be on Minnesota's list. Because whether we choose to spend money or not is going to be the question.
So we're all dueling for fat guys this offseason, huh?
It looks like it. And who knows? Let me scroll down to the Packers. Are they involved? I know they're working on their offensive line as well.
Dave, you don't even need to go that far. You can just save time. The Packers ain't got no money. They ain't got no draft picks. They ain't got no money. They're sitting it out.
But the biggest news, like I said, was that Drew Dalman retired, and that shocked everybody. And I'm sure Ben Johnson, it surprised him too.
Mm-hmm.
He was like, what did I do? And Drew said, it's not you, it's me.
Facts.
Mm-hmm. So, I'm hearing you're still wanting to trade Tremaine Edmonds.
Tremaine.
Mm-hmm. That's still a go?
Maine. Well, one of the things we did get out of the combine, even though Ben Johnson wasn't there in the building, that's where the one thing that it does, the backdoor, the backdoor deals and the conversation that happens at the combine, those tend to illuminate some things, and it's fodder for us, the content creators. We get to speculating on trades after the rumors start dropping. The rumors are that there's a lot of trade markets developing for a handful of Bears players, Tremaine Edmonds, which we'll see if you watch our latest show at the Frustrated Chicago Sports Fan channel, our combine review. You can check that out right here. If you watch that, we were surprised that Tremaine actually has a trade market. We've been talking about cutting them for the last 2 years. If you've watched the Bears for any amount of time, and you recall Tremaine when he was with Buffalo and remember the contract he signed, and then you've paid attention to what he's done in Chicago, you're like, I think we're overpaying this bro. And there's teams out reaching out to the Bears. Hey, we'll take him off your hands. We'll give you draft capital. Maybe something else. Like, hey, that's shocking to us. In addition to Tremaine, there is some conversations going on for Javon Dexter. I think this would be his 4th year. Well, 4th year down lineman, 3 technique for the Bears. There's conversations still going on for DJ Moore. Obviously, the biggest trade piece that the Bears have. His name's been bandied about and for potential trades for Maxx Crosby. I also check out this video up here. I proposed that they should trade him to the Giants. But I would get into all of that. It's creative work. But the name that shocked me the most, outside of Tremaine having a trade market, with all these quarterback needy teams, people are calling the Bears for T-Bag.
Yep, the bag man.
And it's they're not. They're not. No, they were not calling the Bears for that pineapple action down in Naptown. No, there was actually, when I say T-Bag, I mean Tyson Badgett.
Mm-hmm. Right.
They were calling for get that quarterback. And the rumors are people are offering 3rd round picks, and I want to know, Ryan, why haven't you traded him yet?
Hey, SI Bears is saying they're expecting a 2nd rounder.
That's crazy.
Well, it's just like San Francisco saying they want a 1st rounder for Mac Jones.
Hey, if teams need a quarterback hey, you know what? I don't even go that far. I don't want to do like the Bears. I don't want to do like the Bulls and tank a player's trade market. But how about this? Tyson, go ahead and put your hair in a hair bun. Say bye to the fans. Throw on your loafers and head on to the airport. Don't worry about none of your other stuff. Me and the rest of the Frustrated Chicago Sports Fan channel, we'll go pack up your stuff. We'll make sure it gets to your new home in one piece. We already got FedEx on retainer. We'll handle that for you. If we can get a 2nd round for a guy who is not a starting quarterback, we would love that.
Maybe Arizona. They're going to be looking for a new quarterback, from what I gather.
Ooh, Arizona. Where's Kyler Murray going?
We don't know. It was announced yesterday that Kyler Murray is going to be released as of the first day of the new league year, and there are those in Minnesota, including the team, that are interested. Why? Because, one, you only have to pay him vet minimum because he's being released with $38.5 point something million guaranteed on his salary. So you only have to pay him vet minimum. There are a few, I have seen about 5, 6, 7 teams that are interested. He only is interested in 2 teams. And I'm afraid one of those is the Minnesota Vikings. Why? He grew up a Vikings fan. He's one of us. Which is just wow.
What's the other team? What's the other team that he's interested?
I'm wagering it's the Dolphins.
New York.
Not
I
New
heard
York.
I heard the Jets.
Well, I know the Jets are in the running. They're one of the 5 to 7 teams that want him. But for what he wants, I'm suspecting the Dolphins. Now, he may want New York. That's fine. Go to New York. That's a good place to die. Have a career end.
Ouch.
But,
ouch.
Well, speaking of which, your former quarterback that's there is up as a free agent and might go someplace. He's been linked to the Vikings as one. Shit. Every quarterback that was any good, is a free agent, could be got by trade, has been linked to the Vikings and NFL insiders over the last couple of weeks.
Damn, I wonder how 9 feels.
Oh, yeah.
Everybody getting his job, giving his job away.
Well, it's Minnesota's come out and said they want competition for him. They hope he takes the step. They believe in him. But if they can find a starter over him, they'll do that. So now, whether it's Kyler Murray, does Kyler Murray fit the KOC style of football? And generally the answer to that is no, he doesn't. But did KOC learn to adjust even further? And could he adjust his style of football to have Kyler Murray as our quarterback? I don't know. Problem I have with Kyler Murray is his diminutive stature.
Ableist. I
I know.
don't like that.
It's anybody under 6 feet at quarterback is small. And they generally have hard times throwing.
Shout out to Doug Flutie.
Yeah. And you get more block passes. And even J.J. McCarthy, who's 6'2", I believe, he had passes blocked. It's besides having to move around just to see between your linemen to see where your wide receivers are. Because when your linemen are 6'6", weighing 300 pounds, it makes it difficult.
How tall was Fran Tarkenton?
He was 5'11", I believe. But that was a different era of football. And the human beings playing it back then were smaller.
True.
A big lineman was 250.
They were tight ends.
They were huge.
Yeah, I could get on the offensive line for the 72 Dolphins.
Yeah. But that's one of the reasons I put Kyler's image up on the thumbnail is it's crazy season. Minnesota is so giving conflicting reports on what they plan on doing and who they plan on getting that nobody knows. Now, I've mentioned this week on my shows, it could be a psyop, right? They're giving BS answers to confuse everybody. Well, it's working. They are confusing everybody in the fan base. And the fan base is arguing amongst themselves. I want Kirk. I want this guy. I want Kyler. I want Geno. I want whoever. JJ's the guy. Let JJ win or lose. We have no idea. And then Minnesota coming out of the tampering convention in Indianapolis is talking, well, we've spent too much money last year for players. The Wilfs don't want to spend as much money this year. Okay. We still have to get underneath the cap. All 4 teams in the division do. But if the Wilfs aren't willing to spend a whole lot of more money, what are we doing? Are we doing almost a reset? We have Rob Brzezinski as our acting GM. How is that going to go? He's talked about, hey, we're going to make the team healthy for the future. Well, what does healthy for the future mean? Financially? Players that can stay on their feet and play, not miss so many games? It's a crazy, crazy time in Minnesota. And it's frustrating for content creators like me. We get plenty of topics to talk about. But it's weird because I knew where we were going with when we had Rick Spielman. We learned basically how Kwesi Adolfo-Mensah was doing things. And we learned that he's now in San Francisco. It is just a strange time in Minnesota. Speaking of strange times, Foster, how are things in Detroit?
Well, the big news around Detroit was the trading of David Montgomery. There was a tweet that was sent out by ESPN that David Montgomery officially wants out. Montgomery responds back by saying, in third person, did Demo tell you that? And the next day, the announcement went out that he was traded for a 4th rounder, a 7th rounder, and Juice Scruggs. I think that it was time to kind of rip the Band-Aid on that situation. It was kind of weird when he got here. He was signed over from the Chicago Bears, and then we immediately went out and drafted Jahmyr Gibbs a month later, which I'm sure was a little bit of a head scratcher, but they made it work. They both were a dynamic duo. Montgomery's first year, he was a 1,000-yard rusher, had a pretty good season. And then as time went on, Jahmyr Gibbs kind of ascended as the main guy. it was a nice change of pace between the two of them, but essentially they were holding each other back in a sense. I mean, Gibbs would go out. I mean, they played on the same field at the same time a little bit because Gibbs was able to play in the slot, but for the most part, you'd see Gibbs on the sideline for a drive, and then you'd see Montgomery on the so neither one of them was being maximized. But we scored a lot of points. The Sonic and Knuckles thing was great, but Gibbs is essentially probably going to get his extension this year, and Montgomery still has some stuff, still has something left in the tank. He's had the least amount of carries and least amount of touches that he's ever had this past year. A lot of that has to do with the insufficiencies of the OC who was moved on from. So that was part of it, but essentially Montgomery wasn't happy. Houston was one of his main, was one of his preferred destinations, and he'll be an RB1 all over again. Now, as far as the Lions are concerned, we are really thin at the running back position. I didn't realize that Craig Reynolds had signed to the New England Patriots, but he did. And all we have left behind Jahmyr Gibbs is Sione Vaki, who has mostly been a special teams player. He played mostly safety in college, but we've converted him to a running back. He only had 1 carry for 4 yards last year. He was he was the 4th running back in the depth chart. So I get that. So the Lions will have to figure out who, via free agency, the draft, who is going to be the change of pace, power, goal line, RB2. We did get two draft picks out of the deal, the 4th round being the more, appealing one. But we also got a depth interior offensive lineman that can play all over. He played center in college. He played left and right guard pretty evenly last year. Didn't have a great year, but the year before he was about league average at the guard position. So we got an offensive lineman. We got a couple of draft picks. We traded up twice last year and gave away some draft picks. So we kind of replenished the draft picks that we didn't, that we lost. But we still have some things to figure out. It's looking like Tate Ratledge is probably going to move to center, opening up a right guard, one of the guard positions that we're going to have to address. Either unless we get a center. I saw somebody talk about Connor McGovern. That was somebody that might be of interest to us. He played for the Buffalo Bills last year, but at any rate, we need to find another guard, and we probably need a contingency plan if Taylor Decker is not able to, rock out for his final year. So we still got some things to do.
Don't you hate it when these athletes always say, man, that trade, man, I don't know where y'all heard that from. That trade rumor, y'all ain't heard it from me, is BS. 36 hours later, okay, you was capping. Right. Hey,
not even 36. That's the crazy. Yeah, but yeah, they want to save face. He was viewed, he was pretty much viewed as a, likable guy. He didn't really, shake things up too much. So I guess I kind of understand that. But the reality is, since probably 3/4 into the season, they're, because they know what they do nowadays. They throw the cryptic tweets out with the pictures and the memes and all that type of stuff, and they like weird stuff from random people. It's like, come on, we know what it is. I get it. You're 28. You got 2 more possible prime years of good football. You play a very physical, physically demanding style of play. The clock's ticking for that. And you love Gibbs, you love Detroit, but do your thing, big fella.
One of my viewers, Mr. Pink, says, did the Lions miss their Super Bowl window?
I mean, I don't think getting rid of is this tied to the Montgomery situation or just in general?
Just in general.
Are
you getting old?
I don't know if we're getting old, but It's tough to say. We obviously didn't make the playoffs last year, so I really don't have a leg to stand on as far as trying to defend that. But this is a very important year. I'll just say that.
As a Chicago Bears fan, I will say yes. And shout out to Mr. Pink. I loved your work in Reservoir. Keep it up.
Who's your backup quarterback?
He's a free agent. So yeah,
Tyson Badgett.
We don't
on the way.
We don't need those. Jared Goff plays every game. Knock on wood.
Well, I thought it was funny. And speaking of Tyson Badgett, out of all the available quarterbacks or quarterback names possible, he was not one that was brought up in Minnesota. Out of about the 12 or 15 that were brought up, he was not one, which I thought was funny. But, well, it's being reported from prideofdetroit.com that Marcus Mariota is one of the ones that people think will be the best fit. That was evaluated by Jeremy Reisman. So maybe you get Marcus.
That's a solid backup.
Mm-hmm. So now
I was thinking, my fault, Dave. I was thinking when you said that'd be a solid back, I'm like, does he play the type of style or for their offense? And then I thought, I'm like, I don't even know who's calling the shots for the offense in Detroit anymore. So, I mean, maybe I don't know, because Marcus Mariota and Jared Goff are they're not similar.
Yeah, but you don't have to be pigeonholed into one particular QB to get it done.
Just as long as he can stand, breathe, and throw a football.
In this day and age, I kind of disagree.
We don't need him to be any more immobile if that's what you, which is nearly impossible. But
who knows? All right, we've spoken long enough before we get to Green Bay Packers. We are going to take a quick break. Grab your Garrett's popcorn, and we'll be right back. And we're back. And I have a question from Biggs. With Stefon Diggs being released, do we bring him back to Minnesota? And the simple answer to that, Biggs, to me is no. Because of all of his court legal issues.
Don't need any more of that. You're right.
We've already got that with Jordan Addison.
That's true.
He's all through with his, hopefully for now. We don't need any more, in my opinion.
Maybe.
Now, what
maybe he can mentor Jordan.
That could be a problem. The whole Stefon Diggs was mentored by Randy Moss when Randy Moss came back. And there was supposedly an issue it caused with Stefon Diggs after that point. But, hey, it was. Raymond says, too much drama. Yes, on the Diggs. Now, but we've got to pay our minuscule attention to the Green Bay Packers, because this is an NFC North show. Green Bay Packers. One of the biggest news headlines of the last week was with the grades, the NFL Players Association grades. And you know who dropped their grades? Matt LaFleur, their head coach. Everybody else's head coach stayed doing great, especially in Chicago. But Matt LaFleur dropped. Now, my question is, when is he on the hot seat? There's been fans up there that have called for it for a long time, and we might just see it. Now, go ahead, Patty.
No, I'm thinking about the question. We might just see it. Yeah, I'm envisioning the day
they get off to a slow start. It could happen. They lose. They're going to lose their backup quarterback, who's going to probably go and make $30 to $40 million a year for basically 100 passes. And yes, he's been linked to the Vikings as one, but the Vikings can't afford him. I find it absolutely interesting. Now, what people in Green Bay are talking about are they still in their Super Bowl window? Same question Foster was asked. And there's a whole bunch of people saying, nope. Got Jordan Love, Tucker Kraft, Micah Parsons, and that's about it. They need to address a whole bunch of other needs. They're going to lose Malik Willis. Who's going to back up there? Tyson Bagent. Hey, if Green Bay gives Chicago a second rounder, I'm sure Bay would be happy.
Do they have one?
That's all they've got. They don't have a first rounder.
If they don't have a first the next 2 years, and then they give up the second for a quarterback that was undrafted. Oof, Dave, this table is going to start rising.
But it's I find it interesting that the Wisconsinites are just absolutely frustrated, which I'm all for.
Definitely, I love them being mad. You talked about their grades and LaFleur taking a haircut on his grade from last season. I kind of think that some of their grades, especially the one about the stadium, or the playing surface, they probably score low because they've been losing on it for so long. I think the players are just fed up with that.
Mm-hmm. Well, I'm surprised your playing surface rated so high, because usually Soldier Field's grass is horrible.
It's very horrible, but the winds makes it a lot better.
Now, when you looked at the grades, you know which team finished last for playing surface.
Wasn't it the Browns?
Mm-mm. Same division.
Ooh. Cincinnati?
No, Pittsburgh.
Wow. Pittsburgh, really?
Yep.
Really? Why is that shocking to me?
Because they have to change the turf out, or the grass out at least, I think, 3 times a season. And it's so soft and it comes up in chunks. Place kickers lose their footing.
And yet they have the best kicker in the division, maybe in the conference.
Mm-hmm. But anyways, we're off topic. All right, now to Minnesota. One of the things we learned is Jonathan Grenard is now up for sale, for trade. Wondered if he demanded it. Well, it turns out he wanted a raise. Does he deserve a raise? Sure. He absolutely does. He's playing under a contract. He still has 2 more years. He's going to make $19 million this year. And he wants to be paid as a top 10 edge rusher. Well, sure. He's not going to make, top of the market money, but he should be making top 10 edge rusher money without a doubt. And so the Vikings said, all right, if somebody wants to trade for him, we'll open up for that. But it's going to take at least a second rounder to get him. Now, most people think it depends how you look at the trade. Do you value the edge rusher? Is it a premium? Are you going to pay that or more for somebody who's a Pro Bowler? Or Do you think, well, he's disgruntled, Minnesota's trying to get rid of him, they need to get under the cap, so we'll lowball the offer? Because no matter who trades him, they're going to have to give him an extension and raise his pay. And I'm curious how that's going to go. Now, anybody that needs a good edge rusher, and I know a couple here on the screen, they would love that.
How many games did he play last year?
He played 12 or 14 before he was injured.
He only had 3 sacks and he wants a raise?
No, he had 6 last year, I believe. Or was it 3?
It says 3.
Okay. Well, the year before it was 12 and a half.
Yeah. The 2 years prior, 12 and 12 and a half. But, I mean.
But we also have Dallas Turner. So we have the replacement there. And Dallas Turner led the team in sacks last year. So we can let him go. Now, I do love playing 3 edge rushers. Say again, Pay.
I didn't know Dallas Turner led the team in sacks last season. That's news. Wow, that's fortunate turn of events for Minnesota.
Right.
But
you all got Bernard in free agency, right?
Yes, we did.
Okay.
Now, Tyler Fornes, my partner, has a theory that it's one of the reasons they want to let him go is that he was a Kwesi Adolfo-Mensah pick.
Oh, to sign Grenard?
When they signed Grenard. Versus Van Ginkel, which was a Brian Flores pick. And Dallas Turner was obviously Brian Flores / KOC pick. So it's an interesting theory if that's the case. But, you know, if I was the Minnesota Vikings, I'd say, hey, you're under contract. Prove it. You only got 3 sacks last year. Yes, we have 2 other good edge rushers, but we like playing with 3.
Seems like he has durability issues, if you ask me.
Well, it was just last year. He's generally been very good, if I remember correctly. But it has Minnesota going, with showdown saying, will Grenard wanting more money turn teams away? Possibly.
Well, I mean, that's how it goes. If the word is out that a player wants a new contract or a pay raise, and whichever case, you're obviously going to push that responsibility off to the new team that acquires him, which lowers the returning assets for the old team. So, I mean, that's how that goes. But I like Grenard. I think Grenard is a beast.
And I hope we stick our guns and he comes back at $19 million and gets pissed off next year. It's the same thing that happened to Danielle Hunter. He's underpaid, and he can only go so far like that. Now, he's going to say, well, Van Ginkel got a pay raise to make up after his initial low costs. And he's right, but we had money to pay Van Ginkel. Right now, we're $40+ million over the cap. Now, they'll get under it, but it's going to be interesting. Now, Vikings news, we plan to retain TJ Hawkinson. He was a hot and bothered topic for quite a while on Vikings land. They're going to play him. He's supposedly willing to take a pay cut to stay, which is cool by us. I like that. And we're going to see where we go with free agency. We'd love to target Kenneth Walker. But he's going to demand some money.
I agree with Seattle letting him figure out his market. I think I said it on this show a few weeks ago that
never pay your running backs.
I'm not paying my running backs. Second contracts for running backs. I'm not doing it. You go out there, you see what you're worth, and if it's something that's plausible, you can come back and we'll work something out for you, get you back in there. But I'm already leaning to the side of letting you bounce. Yeah.
Super Bowl MVP running back.
Yeah. Okay.
Oh yeah, that means nothing. That means nothing. My bad. What'd you say there?
I'm not gonna pay you for what you already did. I got the Super Bowl MVP off of your rookie deal.
got that out of you. That's crazy.
Now the Vikings are looking for a running back, obviously. So Detroit's going to need one. They need somebody to replace Montgomery.
Can't pay two. I don't know if we can pay two.
No, you can't.
No, I can't do that.
You got to find one in the draft.
What about James Conner? He's 30. He played with the Cardinals. He's only a year removed from 1,000-yard rushing season. I think he'd be a nice change of pace, goal line type guy with Gibbs. If he wants to reunite real quick with Drew Petzing.
That's interesting. I definitely think it gives your backfield a little bit more added dynamic with him, but you already know 9-game max with him.
That's okay. He's our backup.
Okay.
Maybe David Montgomery was a little too durable,
Well, I like where your head's at, Foster. I like where your head's at. You give him a contract that's loaded with incentives. Yeah, I like where you're going. Yeah, there you go.
Blue collar, we work around here.
Yes,
Eddie play.
Now, we're all over the cap in the division. Have you guys got any plans or have heard any ways that you're working to get under it? For Minnesota, they're going to cut Aaron Jones and Javon Hargrave. It's already been announced. If they can work out a trade, great. If somebody wants to give a 7th or a 6th to have sole negotiating rights, they can do that. Are you doing any of that?
We cut Graham Glasgow for what it's worth.
Traded Montgomery.
That's 15 over the next 2 years. And then I think whatever we did with DJ Reader and Alex Anzalone should save us some money, if I'm not mistaken.
Okay. Pay, other than Drew Dalman's retirement, how are you guys looking to get under the cap? You guys weren't that far over, if I remember correctly.
10 over.
And you got to get it
prior
10,
to the
under.
I think we're going to actually need more than that. We got to be really creative. But prior to the trade markets that I spoke about earlier, the only medium rumor of a cut heading into the start of the new league year was Tremaine Edmonds. But now that he's got a trade market, people are interested in shopping with us for him. Like, hey, whoa, slow down. Let's see if we can get something for him. Might be able to kill 2 birds with 1 stone. But other than that, no, we haven't really done. Well, there's not really any movement in the cut, any cap casualties as of yet. Drew Dalman, he's the only guy so far.
Okay. Now Green Bay, they'll most likely they've got some big contracts, i.e. Micah Parsons, so they can rearrange money and make that happen generally. But they're tight as well. Let's see, where are they right now on the list? They are 6 or 7, almost $7 million over. Whereas per OTC, Lions are 11.5, a little bit more over. Bears are 11.7 over. And you figure you want at least 10 to 15 million to pay 1-year rookies, and to have a rainy day fund. So, and if you want to dip into any free agents, you got to get in below that to afford those guys. But unlike the Vikings that are listed as 51 for effective space over, you guys are in good shape. Now, offensive line needs. Bears, you obviously need a center. You're hosting Tyler Biadasz and eyeing Tyler Linderbaum. Lions, after Glasgow is gone, you're going to be looking for somebody. Packers, emphasis on continuity. Zach Tom at right tackle, but potential needs at defensive tackle and defensive end. And then Vikings, we need a center or at least backup depth if we decide to go with Blake Brandel or Michael Juergens as our center this year. So it is what it is. Now, speaking of edges, what are you willing to offer in pursuit of Maxx Crosby? Pay? What are you hearing?
What am I willing to offer? What I'm hearing is that the Raiders are dead set on getting a Micah Parsons type haul for Maxx Crosby, and I am dead set on pushing away from the table. 2 first rounds and a player is just a little bit too rich for our blood, especially you bring in Maxx Crosby. That immediately puts you in the Super Bowl window. I believe we can get into that same Super Bowl window without giving up our future assets. I don't want to be looking like the Green Bay Packers. Pockets turned inside out and got no future. Just upside down on what you can do in April. Everybody else is going outside to play, and you stuck in the house doing homework. Because when it's warm outside, can't be me. Now, I did insinuate earlier that I did have another plan. The Giants are reportedly shopping Kayvon Thibodeau. A lot cheaper than Maxx Crosby. I think he's just as good, if not better, than Maxx Crosby, and he's younger. The Giants are in a same type of situation as the Bears are. They have a redundancy of talent along that defensive line. Abdul Carter, Brian Burns, and Thibodeau. The Bears have a redundancy in the wide receiver room. Giants need a wide receiver. They need a legit RW1. So let's make some magic happen, New York. If we could put aside the pizza wars for a second, let's shop. Let's make something happen.
The pizza wars. Hey, I love any pizza. I'm a pizza whore, so it doesn't matter. From St. Louis to Chicago to Detroit or to New York, it doesn't matter. All right.
Emo's does not get the love that it deserves. Emo's pizza is I like Emo. I love Emo's pizza.
There's some good pizza down here. And not just Emo's, but yeah, there's some good pizza down here. Now, Vikings, our biggest issue is quarterback. What's going to happen? Does JJ win the competition? Does JJ automatically get made number 2 or 3 on the QB list, depending on who we sign? It doesn't. We don't know. Kyler Murray and Geno Smith are the 2 biggest names to possibly replace him, or at least to compete. It's just, But you guys got anything else?
Oh, well, when you talked about cap, there's been some reports about Sam Laporta being floated around in trade talks, which seems odd in the sense that we just brought in a guy that loves his tight ends. McBride in Arizona just had a massive year, but we've done this before with Iowa tight ends, and Sam Laporta is coming off a year that was, he only played a couple games before getting hurt. So, and he's one of those guys that's due for a deal along with Jahmyr Gibbs and Brian Branch. So, they could look to start over. There has been talks throughout the combine that we're looking to get younger at tight end. Sam Laporta is not old, but
you'll take a second for him like you did with Hawkinson.
It would be a tough pill, but hey, I mean everybody can't get paid, and Sam Laporta I think is going to warrant that very soon. So that will be one way to trim some costs, some upcoming costs for sure.
Pay, you got any last words?
It's with the new league year starting next Wednesday.
Mm-hmm.
It's going to be very, very. It's going to be one of those times a year that is going to be the notifications are not going to stop. Football, as we've said a bunch of names that are going to be all over the place. I think 80% of the names we said today are going to be playing somewhere new. Well, we already know Stephon Diggs is going to be playing somewhere new, but according to everybody else, it could be a lot of musical chairs going on, and you got the World Baseball Classic starting tonight, so it's not a you might think it's the off season, you might think it's the boring time of year. I disagree. This is great time for sports news and sports discourse. Going to be fun.
Are we going to go live next Wednesday at our normal time? With all the breaking free agency?
I was going to talk about it offline, but somebody representing Detroit will be going live next.
Oh, Coach?
June
will be.
Whoa, breaking news.
Wow. All right. June. Fantastic.
More than likely.
Well, good. Foster, what have you guys got going on at Bleachers to Speakers?
Well, Pistons coverage, of course. We got the Detroit Tigers, who actually tied with the Dominican team in the World Baseball Classic. Should be a good year for us. We'll be back on Sunday discussing a week in Tigers baseball and draft coverage as well, Lions-wise.
Cool. Hey, what have you got over happening at this Frustrated Chicago Sports Fans channel?
Well, as I already said, baseball season is kicking off, so we got those weekly recap shows coming out you hot and heavy like a pizza. Shout out to Little Caesars. So got that going on there. As always, we got weekly Bulls and Central Division shows as well. But and you also get your weekly dose of Chicago Bears news and general NFL talk. So it's a lot of stuff happening right now at the Frustrated Chicago Sports Fan channel. Why don't y'all go on ahead, come in and check us out. Won't keep you too long, and while you're there, you will definitely be entertained.
Yes. And over at Vikings First and SKOL, tomorrow night, Tyler's got Luke Braun from Locked On Vikings joining him for a special X's and SKOLs live at 6:05, our normal time, Central. It should be a good one. I have no idea what they're going to talk about other than it's Vikings related. This should absolutely rock. And then Darren and I on Sunday, wrapping up the week with the in-depth, long-form show, Two Old Bloggers. What do we say, Foster, or what do they say in Detroit? Besides one pride? Hey, what do they say in Chicago?
Bear down.
The Bears.
And of course, in Minnesota, we say SKOL Vikings. Thanks everybody for watching. Like, subscribe, and rate us on your favorite podcast aggregator. Thank you for listening to this NFC North group effort on the Fans First Sports Network. This has been a frustrated Chicago sports fans, Bleachers to Speakers, Vikings First and SKOL, and of course, the Fans First Sports Network production. Thank you for listening.